Now we are going to study the second part, right? So what is this? Now we are going to come to Marx's understanding of human essence and alienation, or his human theory. Okay. So now what we are going to cover up is Marx's understanding of human essence and alienation. So in this theory, what Marx argues that humans are alienated from the products of their labor, the act of production, their specific beings, and their fellow humans. So he says when one gets alienated, what is the meaning of alienated? Secluded, we can say, from their species being. They are subsequently alienated from themselves. Okay. So all four movements in the productive process lead to the obtaining of alienation. So everything that is happening is leading to what? Alienation. And is alienation good? No. Okay, so when he gives this theory, he condemns the fact of capitalism. Now let's study this concept of alienation in more detail. What is this concept of alienation? Okay, now alienation means what? If I want to define the word alienation, alienation in simple terms means estrangement. So I can relate this alienation to what? I can relate it to estrangement. That is when man gets separated from himself. So separation of man. So man is getting what? Man is getting separated, right? So Marx, what he did, he discussed this concept of alienation in one of his books. The name of the book is Man, the Economics. I'll just write it down also. So Man, the Economics and Philosophical Concepts. So Man and the Economics and the Philosophical Manuscripts. Sorry. So Philosophical Manuscripts. So Man, the Economics and Philosophical Manuscript was one of the, you can say, a book by Karl Marx, right? So what is the objective of Marx over here? He tries to tell what is understood as freedom in a capitalist society is nothing but an isolation. So in a capitalist society, if we do an argument, right? So in capitalist society, what is freedom? It is nothing but isolation. This freedom is leading me to what? Isolation. Okay, so in his theory of alienation, he tries to explain the concept of freedom also. Okay, so whenever you want to explain this theory of alienation, two things we have to study. Firstly, the concept of freedom, and secondly, the theory of alienation. Okay, so whenever you are doing the theory of alienation, it is very important to understand the concept of freedom also as propounded by Marx. Okay, so Marx has taken this idea of alienation from where? Okay, from two German thinkers. So when Marx gave his theory of alienation, okay, so he was actually very much inspired by two German thinkers. Who were they? So the two German thinkers were Hegel and the other was Feuerbach. Okay, so Hegel and Feuerbach. So according to Hegel, what is man? Man in the world gets alienated from God. Okay, and the alienation from God only ends only when the role of state comes in. Okay, so ends only under state. Okay, because state is the march of God on earth. If I talk about Feuerbach, what he said, so according to him, that he gave the opposite view, as you know, as given when propounded by Hegel. He came up with a very opposite view, and he said that, you know, very important thing, that what is God? God is the creation of man. So God is a source of alienation. So he said this alienation, who is the source of this alienation? God himself. It is because of God only that man starts feeling alienated. And God is creation of whom? Man.